When everything falls apart, most people panic. They rush, they react, they break under pressure. But the Stoics taught a different path. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire surrounded by war, betrayal, sickness, and death, yet he wrote calmly to himself each night. He did not escape chaos. He mastered himself inside it. This series is about that mastery. It is about staying calm when life attacks from every direction, and still moving forward with strength, dignity, and control. Calm is not the absence of trouble. Calm is the ability to remain steady while trouble rages. This is how you win when everything falls apart. Chapter 1. Accept the collapse before you can control it. When things begin to fall apart, the first instinct is resistance. The mind screams, "This should not be happening." Panic grows from this refusal. The Stoics taught that suffering multiplies when we deny reality. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you must accept what happens as if you had chosen it. Not because it is good, but because it is real. Acceptance is the foundation of calm. Without it, every action is distorted by anger or fear. When plans fail, relationships break, money disappears, or health declines, the mind wants to fight reality itself. But reality does not negotiate. It only responds to clarity. Acceptance does not mean surrender. It means seeing clearly. Seneca warned that those who rage against events waste energy that could be used to adapt. The moment you say, "This is happening," your nervous system begins to settle. Calm begins with truth. Most people confuse acceptance with weakness. They think calm means giving up. The Stoics knew better. Acceptance is the strongest position because it removes illusion. Illusion creates panic. Truth creates stability. When everything collapses, the mind searches for blame. It blames people, fate, timing, or itself. Epictetus taught that blame chains you to the past. Calm lives only in the present. The moment you stop blaming, you regain power. Acceptance allows you to separate facts from stories. The fact is what happened. The story is what you tell yourself about it. Stories are what destroy peace. Marcus Aurelius wrote that things themselves do not disturb us, but our judgments about them do. A job loss is a fact. The story might be, "I am worthless." A breakup is a fact. The story might be, "I will always be alone." These stories create emotional collapse. Acceptance strips them away. When you accept the collapse, you stop arguing with life. Arguing does not fix damage. It deepens it. Calm comes when you stop asking why and start asking what now. Stoicism teaches that every event has two handles. One that hurts and one you can use. Acceptance allows you to find the usable handle. Resistance blinds you to it. Marcus Aurelius faced plagues, wars, and betrayal. He did not deny any of it. He wrote, "Do not let the future trouble you. You will meet it with the same reason you use today." Acceptance grounds you in this moment. Calm does not arrive all at once. It arrives in layers. The first layer is admitting reality without emotional collapse. This is a discipline. It must be practiced. When things fall apart, slow your breath. Slow your movements. Seneca advised slowing down during chaos because speed amplifies mistakes. Calm begins in the body before it reaches the mind. Acceptance also means accepting your emotions without obeying them. Fear may appear, sadness may rise. These are natural. But they are visitors, not commanders. Epictetus taught that emotions are impressions, not orders. You can say, "I feel afraid," without saying, "I must panic." This distinction is the beginning of strength. Most people escalate situations by reacting emotionally. Calm people de-escalate by observing. Observation creates distance. Distance creates control. Acceptance teaches humility. You admit that you are not in full control of outcomes. This humility removes pressure. Seneca believed pressure is what breaks people, not hardship itself. When you stop demanding that life obey you, you stop fighting shadows. You begin to work with what exists, not what you wish existed. Acceptance also restores dignity. You stop begging reality to change. You stand upright inside difficulty. Marcus Aurelius believed dignity was choosing virtue regardless of circumstance. As acceptance settles, the mind clears. Panic thoughts lose volume, the body relaxes, you can think again. Calm thinking leads to effective action. You begin to notice options. You see small steps instead of overwhelming collapse. One action at a time replaces helplessness. Acceptance is the gate you must pass through. Without it, calm is impossible. With it, calm becomes available even in disaster. This chapter teaches a core Stoic truth. You cannot control what collapses, but you can control how you meet the collapse. And the moment you accept what is, you stop losing and start regaining ground. Chapter 2. Control what is yours, release what is not. When everything falls apart, the mind desperately tries to control everything at once. It reaches outward, grabbing at people, outcomes, and events. This frantic grasping creates more chaos. The Stoics taught that calm begins with a clear division. You must know what belongs to you and what does not. Epictetus expressed this idea clearly when he said, "Some things are in our control and others are not." This single sentence holds immense power. Your opinions, choices, efforts, and character are yours. Other people's actions, the past, luck, and outcomes are not. Confusing these two destroys peace. When crisis hits, most people try to control results. They want guarantees, they want certainty, but results live outside your command. The Stoic focuses on effort instead. Effort is always available. Effort restores calm. Imagine a storm destroying your plans. You cannot stop the storm. You cannot rewind time. But you can choose how you respond now. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Calm grows when attention moves inward. You stop asking, "How do I fix everything?" and start asking, "What is the next right action?" This shift reduces overwhelm. One clear action is lighter than 1,000 imagined disasters. Trying to control others is a common mistake during collapse. You want people to understand, to change, to act differently. But people resist control. Seneca warned that expecting others to behave as we wish invites constant frustration. Release that burden. Other people's reactions are not your responsibility. Your responsibility is your conduct. When you focus on your conduct, dignity returns. Letting go does not mean indifference. It means realism. You still care. You simply stop pretending you command what you do not. This realism protects calm. When control is misdirected, anxiety grows. Anxiety is the mind rehearsing outcomes it cannot command. Stoicism breaks this loop by grounding attention in choice. You always have a choice in how you speak, how you act, and how you interpret events. Even in loss, this choice remains. Epictetus taught that no one can harm your character unless you allow it. This realization is freeing. External collapse no longer means internal collapse. You can stand steady while circumstances shake. Calm people appear powerful because they are not scattered, they are anchored. They do not waste energy fighting reality. They invest energy where it matters. When you release control of outcomes, you gain control of effort. Effort is disciplined, repeatable, and strengthening. Outcomes are unpredictable and fragile. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself not to be distracted by hopes or fears about results. He focused on doing what was right in front of him. This focus created inner stability, even during war. You may fear that letting go will lead to failure. But the Stoics believe the opposite. Clarity improves performance. Panic ruins judgment. Control also applies to time. You cannot control how long pain lasts, but you can control how you use today. Seneca warned against wasting the present while worrying about the future. Use today well. One disciplined action today weakens chaos tomorrow. Calm is built in small, deliberate steps. Release the need to explain yourself. Not everyone needs your reasoning. Marcus Aurelius wrote that wasting time defending yourself distracts from living well. Silence strengthens calm. It keeps energy contained. It prevents unnecessary conflict. Control your attention. What you focus on grows. Constantly watching bad news, criticism, or imagined failure feeds unrest. Choose inputs carefully. Stoicism values mental hygiene. When you limit what enters the mind becomes clearer. Clear minds make better decisions. You cannot control the first thought that appears, but you can control the second. You can question it. You can discard it. This is a skill that grows with practice. Epictetus taught that impressions arrive uninvited, but assent is optional. Calm lives in this pause between impression and response. Control also means regulating the body. Sleep, movement, and breathing influence the mind. The Stoics understood the connection between physical discipline and mental steadiness. When everything falls apart, routines anchor you. Simple habits restore order. Order calms the nervous system. Release perfection. You cannot control doing everything flawlessly. Aim for progress, not perfection. Seneca believed that self-compassion strengthens endurance. Calm is not passive. It is active discipline. It requires repeated choices to return attention to what you can command. Each time you release what is not yours, tension loosens. Each time you act on what is yours, confidence grows. This chapter teaches a Stoic law of calm. Control what depends on you. Release what does not. When you master this division, chaos loses its power. You remain standing while everything else shifts. Chapter 3. Slow down the mind when chaos speeds up. When everything falls apart, the world seems to move faster. Bad news arrives quickly. Decisions demand urgency. People pressure you to act immediately. In these moments, speed feels necessary, but it is often destructive. The Stoics taught that calm is created by slowing the mind when chaos accelerates. Speed belongs to panic. Slowness belongs to control. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to remain steady no matter how rushed the situation appeared. He understood that haste clouds judgment. When the mind races, it multiplies fear. When the mind slows, clarity returns. Calm does not come from fixing everything quickly. Calm comes from thinking clearly before acting. The first danger during collapse is mental overload. Thoughts pile up. Worst-case scenarios repeat. The mind jumps from past mistakes to imagined futures. Seneca warned that anxiety is suffering borrowed from tomorrow. Slowing the mind brings attention back to now, where strength still exists. To slow the mind, you must first slow the body. Rapid movement fuels panic. Stoics practice deliberate motion. Walk slower, sit still. Breathe deeply. The body teaches the mind how to behave. When the body relaxes, the mind follows. Breathing is a forgotten tool of calm. Deep, controlled breaths signal safety to the nervous system. Epictetus taught that discipline begins with mastering small things. Breath is small but powerful. Each slow breath weakens chaos. When the mind is racing, do not trust every thought. Not every thought deserves attention. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you should examine thoughts before allowing them inside. A slow mind questions. A fast mind obeys. Thoughts during crisis often exaggerate. One problem becomes many. One failure becomes permanent. Slowing down allows you to separate reality from fear. Fear collapses under examination. Silence also slows the mind. Speaking too much fuels confusion. Explaining yourself repeatedly drains energy. Seneca believed silence protects inner peace. You do not need to respond to everything immediately. Modern chaos demands instant reactions. Stoicism teaches delayed response. Pause before replying. Pause before deciding. This pause is where calm lives. Epictetus said that between stimulus and response lies freedom. When you slow the mind, priorities become visible. You see what truly matters and what can wait. Urgency is often false. Calm reveals what actually needs action. Slowing down also prevents regret. Many mistakes are made under pressure. Marcus Aurelius advised acting only after reason has spoken. Reason speaks quietly. You must slow down to hear it. The mind becomes noisy when it tries to control outcomes. Slowing down shifts focus back to effort. You cannot fix everything today, but you can do one thing well. One well-done action restores confidence. During collapse, avoid consuming excessive information. News, opinions, and advice flood the mind. This input increases anxiety. Stoics practiced mental fasting. Less input creates space for clarity. A calm mind does not rush conclusions. It waits for facts. It observes patterns. It chooses wisely. Seneca believed wisdom grows in quiet minds. You may feel guilty for slowing down. You may think rest equals weakness. The Stoics rejected this belief. They saw rest as preparation, calm as a weapon sharpened by stillness. Slowing the mind also means accepting unfinished tasks. You cannot solve everything at once. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to complete one duty at a time. Multitasking scatters attention and increases stress. When chaos speeds up, narrow your focus. Reduce your world to the next breath, the next step, the next choice. Small focus stabilizes the mind. The slow mind notices emotions without drowning in them. Fear is seen, anger is felt, but neither controls behavior. Epictetus taught that emotions arise naturally, but obedience is optional. Calm people feel emotions deeply, but act rationally. This is strength, not suppression. Slowing down allows emotions to pass without damage. Patience grows in slow minds. Patience prevents reckless action. Seneca believed patience was essential for endurance. Without it, pressure breaks character. The slow mind also conserves energy. Panic wastes strength. Calm stores it. Stored strength is available when needed most. When everything falls apart, remind yourself that urgency is temporary. Chaos passes. Decisions made in panic last longer. Slow decisions protect the future. Slowing down restores dignity. You refuse to be dragged by events. You move at your chosen pace. Marcus Aurelius believed dignity was acting in harmony with reason. As the mind slows, confidence returns. You realize you are still capable. You are still present. You are still in control of your conduct. Calm spreads outward. Others feel it. Situations stabilize. One calm mind can steady many. This chapter teaches a Stoic survival skill. When chaos speeds up, slow down. Calm is created deliberately. And in that deliberate slowness, you regain control while others lose it. Chapter 4. Control what is yours and release the rest. When everything falls apart, the greatest source of panic is confusion about control. The mind tries to control everything at once. Outcomes, people, timing, and opinions all feel urgent. The Stoics taught that calm returns only when you separate what is yours from what is not. Epictetus said this was the foundation of inner peace. If you master this distinction, chaos loses its power. Control is limited, but it is not small. You control your thoughts, your choices, your effort, and your character. Everything else sits outside your command. When collapse happens, calm comes from standing firmly inside what belongs to you. Most people suffer because they try to control the uncontrollable. They worry about how others react. They obsess over results. They replay the past and fear the future. Seneca warned that this struggle drains life force. Calm is restored when effort replaces obsession. When life breaks apart, ask one question. What is mine to manage right now, not tomorrow, not next year, right now? This question narrows the storm. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that external events cannot harm his inner self unless he allows them. This was not denial, it was discipline. He accepted events, but guarded his response. Releasing control is not giving up. It is intelligent withdrawal. You stop wasting energy on battles you cannot win. You redirect that energy into action that strengthens you. When people disappoint you, you cannot control their behavior. You can control your standards. When plans fail, you cannot change the past. You can choose your next move. When outcomes remain uncertain, you cannot force certainty. You can act with integrity. Epictetus taught that freedom begins when you stop demanding guarantees. Calm grows when you accept uncertainty without paralysis. You move forward without needing assurance. Trying to control everything creates tension. Tension hardens the body and mind. Calm softens both. Softness allows adaptation. Adaptation creates survival. Release begins with awareness. Notice where your thoughts keep returning. Notice what you replay. These loops reveal where you are gripping too tightly. Letting go starts there. When you release what you cannot control, fear weakens. Fear feeds on imagined influence. When influence is removed, fear starves. Control what you say. Words shape reality. Speak slowly. Speak honestly. Speak only when useful. Seneca believed careless speech multiplies chaos. Control what you do next. One action done with care restores confidence. Even small progress stabilizes the mind. Control how you treat yourself. During collapse, self-judgment intensifies pain. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to meet failure with patience. Harshness weakens resilience. Control your effort, not the reward. Stoicism teaches devotion to process. When effort is sincere, outcomes lose emotional grip. Let go of timelines. Pressure often comes from imagined deadlines. Calm returns when you focus on quality rather than speed. Let go of reputation. People will talk during collapse. Their opinions are not yours to manage. Epictetus taught that peace comes from indifference to praise and blame. Let go of fairness. Life is not balanced in the short term. Demanding fairness creates resentment. Acceptance restores calm. Release comparison. Others may rise while you fall. Comparison deepens suffering. Focus restores direction. Releasing control does not mean passivity. It means precision. You act where action matters. You remain still where action is useless. Calm people conserve energy. They do not chase every problem. They choose their battles wisely. When control is clarified, decision-making improves. You stop guessing and start choosing. Choice strengthens identity. Marcus Aurelius believed character was revealed under pressure. Controlling yourself while releasing the rest builds character quickly. You may feel exposed when you stop trying to control everything. This discomfort fades. In its place, strength appears. Calm is trusting yourself enough to face uncertainty without panic. When everything falls apart, repeat this truth. I control my conduct. I release the rest. This repetition anchors the mind. Over time, this practice becomes natural. You respond instead of react. You move instead of freeze. Others may still panic around you. Let them. Your calm is not dependent on their state. This chapter teaches a Stoic law of survival. Control what is yours. Release what is not. And in that balance, you stand steady while chaos collapses around you. Chapter 5. Choose virtue when pressure demands reaction. When everything falls apart, pressure does not ask for wisdom. It asks for speed. It pushes you toward reaction instead of principle. In moments like these, Stoicism offers a clear anchor. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts and actions. When chaos presses in, virtue is what keeps the soul clean. Virtue is not abstract. It is practical. It is how you speak when angry, how you act when afraid, and how you decide when no option feels safe. Calm is sustained not by comfort, but by character. When pressure rises, character is revealed. Most people abandon values during crisis. They justify harsh words, dishonest choices, or reckless behavior by saying survival requires it. The Stoics rejected this thinking. They believed that abandoning virtue during difficulty creates inner collapse even if outer survival continues. Epictetus taught that no external event can force you to act against your principles. Pressure may influence, but it cannot command. This truth restores calm. You may not control the situation, but you always control your moral response. Virtue begins with restraint. When emotions surge, the first victory is not acting immediately. Silence becomes strength. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that it is better to remain quiet than to speak without wisdom. Anger feels powerful, but it weakens judgment. Fear feels urgent, but it clouds vision. Choosing virtue means choosing clarity over impulse. Calm follows clarity. Honesty is a Stoic virtue often tested during collapse. Fear tempts exaggeration, excuses, or lies. Seneca warned that dishonesty multiplies anxiety. Truth simplifies the mind. A calm mind rests on truth. Courage is another virtue revealed in Breakdown. Courage is not loud bravery, it is steady endurance. It is doing what is right even when outcome is uncertain. Calm grows when courage replaces avoidance. Justice matters most when emotions demand revenge. When treated unfairly, the instinct is retaliation. Stoicism teaches measured response. Marcus Aurelius believed that returning harm with harm damages both sides. Temperance controls excess. During crisis, excess appears as overworking, overeating, overthinking, or overreacting. Balance protects strength. Calm is sustained by moderation. Virtue also includes compassion. Pressure hardens many people. Stoicism softens without weakening. You understand that others act from fear and confusion. Compassion prevents bitterness from taking root. Choosing virtue does not guarantee success. It guarantees self-respect. Seneca believed self-respect was essential for peace. Without it, no victory feels complete. When everything falls apart, temptation increases. Shortcuts appear, principles feel expensive. Stoicism reminds you that character is never negotiable. Calm depends on integrity. Virtue simplifies decisions. Instead of endless debate, you ask one question: what is the right action here? This question cuts through chaos. Marcus Aurelius believed that living according to nature meant living according to reason and virtue. Reason chooses patience. Virtue chooses dignity. Even when outcomes are negative, virtuous action preserves inner order. Disorder outside does not have to become disorder inside. Choosing virtue also stabilizes identity. Crisis can make people forget who they are. Virtue reminds you. You are someone who acts with purpose. When you act virtuously, regret decreases. You may regret outcomes, but not conduct. This protects long-term calm. Virtue also earns trust. Others sense steadiness. They rely on calm individuals during chaos. One virtuous person can restore balance to many. Stoicism does not promise ease. It promises alignment. Alignment between values and actions produces strength that chaos cannot steal. When pressure demands reaction, pause and remember. You are not required to respond emotionally. You are invited to respond wisely. Virtue transforms suffering into training. Each difficult moment becomes practice. Each challenge sharpens character. Calm is not passive. It is active discipline guided by values. This chapter teaches a powerful Stoic truth. When everything collapses, choose virtue. It will hold you together when nothing else does. And by choosing virtue under pressure, you do not merely survive chaos, you rise above it. Chapter 6, Remain steady and let time reveal the outcome. When everything falls apart, the greatest temptation is to force resolution. You want answers now, relief now, proof now. But Stoicism teaches a final, powerful lesson. Remain steady and allow time to do its work. Not everything can be solved immediately. Some victories only appear after endurance. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that time exposes truth, heals wounds, and dissolves false fears. Panic tries to rush the process. Calm respects it. When you remain steady, you give reality space to settle. Many people destroy progress by interfering too soon. They overcorrect, they second-guess, they abandon patience. Seneca warned that impatience turns small problems into permanent ones. Calm is sustained by waiting wisely. Time is not passive. It is active movement beyond your control. Fighting it creates frustration. Working with it creates peace. Stoicism teaches acceptance of timing as much as acceptance of events. Remaining steady means continuing correct behavior even without immediate reward. You show up. You act with virtue. You maintain discipline. You do not demand instant results. This steadiness builds inner strength. The mind often lies during crisis. It says nothing will improve. It says the damage is permanent. Epictetus taught that these thoughts are impressions, not truths. Time disproves many fears if you let it. When emotions surge, they feel endless. But emotions are temporary by nature. Anger fades, fear softens. Sadness loosens. Calm people trust this process. They do not rush emotional recovery. Remaining steady also means not explaining yourself constantly. Silence allows outcomes to speak. Marcus Aurelius believed action should require no defense. Time validates conduct better than words. During collapse, others may pressure you for decisions. They may demand reactions. Stoicism teaches that you are allowed to wait. Waiting is not weakness. It is wisdom. Time creates perspective. What feels catastrophic today may feel manageable tomorrow. What feels unbearable now may become a lesson later. Calm trusts perspective to arrive. Remaining steady requires routine. Small daily actions anchor the mind. Wake consistently. Move the body. Eat simply. Rest deliberately. Routine creates stability when circumstances cannot. Stoics believed discipline was freedom disguised as structure. When everything is uncertain, structure protects sanity. Time rewards consistency. Do not chase emotional closure. Closure arrives naturally through understanding, not force. Seneca warned that forcing peace delays it. Steadiness also means forgiving yourself. Crisis often brings regret. You replay mistakes. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that past actions cannot be undone, only learned from. Time transforms regret into wisdom. When nothing seems to change, remember that growth often occurs invisibly. Roots deepen before branches rise. Epictetus believed progress happens quietly before it becomes visible. Remaining steady means continuing to choose virtue even when unnoticed. You may feel unseen, unappreciated, but character does not depend on recognition. Calm grows from self-respect. Time tests resolve. It asks if your calm is real or temporary. Each day you remain steady strengthens resilience. You become harder to shake. The Stoics taught that fate unfolds regardless of resistance. Remaining steady means aligning with what unfolds instead of resisting it. This alignment reduces suffering. Do not measure progress emotionally. Measure it behaviorally. Are you acting with discipline? Are you maintaining principles? Are you calmer than before? These are signs of real progress. Remaining steady also protects relationships. Emotional volatility damages trust. Calm endurance restores it. Others learn they can rely on you. Time reveals truth about people, situations, and yourself. Those who rush rarely see clearly. Those who wait understand deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote that nature works slowly yet perfectly. Impatience tries to improve perfection and creates imbalance. Calm respects natural timing. When everything falls apart, you may feel invisible. But time sees everything. Effort compounds. Consistency accumulates. Calm multiplies strength. Remaining steady does not mean suppressing pain. It means allowing pain without letting it control you. This balance is Stoic mastery. As time passes, confidence returns quietly, not excitement. Not arrogance, quiet trust. You know you can endure. You have proof. Steadiness also prepares you for opportunity. When conditions improve, calm people are ready. Panicked people are exhausted. Time eventually closes wounds. It restores balance. It reveals lessons. Calm allows this healing to occur without interference. The final Stoic lesson is patience rooted in strength. Not passive waiting, but active steadiness. You continue living correctly while time works unseen. When everything falls apart, the urge is to act wildly. Stoicism asks you to stand firm. Stand firm in values. Stand firm in discipline. Stand firm in calm. This is how you win without fighting. This chapter teaches a timeless truth. Calm endures longer than chaos. Time favors the steady. And when the dust finally settles, you will realize that remaining calm was not delay. It was victory. This is the Stoic Tide. If this series gave you strength in collapse, like to support Stoic wisdom, share with someone who needs calm endurance. Subscribe for timeless Stoic guidance, quiet power, and unshakable peace when life falls apart.